is proposed wind tower ordinance. The last meeting, we took upon ourselves the recommendation, or someone's recommendation, that we adapt Burley County's wind energy zoning with a few modifications. Jana, will you briefly explain? Jana went through this and changed some wording, which was really not the intent, but explain briefly to the board what you did just to make it fit Wells County.
Yep. Let me pull up that email so that okay. So basically, we don't have a soils erosion plan. So anything that pertained or led back to a soil erosion control plan, I took out because it doesn't pertain to Wells County. There was something in there about a 911 emergency system. We do not have a Wells County emergency 911 system, so I talked to Tammy and Janelle Pepley, and I put in that the applicant shall submit the project to the Wells County 911 coordinator, which would be Janelle Pepley, so she could inform any of the emergency districts, the ambulance, fire districts, that kind of thing, of any kind of project. It said in a couple of different areas, county engineer. When it came to roads, I put in the Wells County road foreman because we do not hire a county engineer. Anything that pertained to having to submit any paperwork to the county auditor treasurer, I just put myself in since I take care of the zoning aspect of things. Burley County obviously has an interstate in their county. I took that out. That was pretty much it. I did leave the wording from our 2008 zoning. As for the purpose of this ordinance, because I felt it was essential to identify what the ordinance was trying to do.
Thank you, Jana. All right. With that, this is a public hearing. There's two individuals who asked to speak, and will speak first. If you could limit your times to 5 minutes. We don't know how many people want to speak tonight, but we don't want one or two people to dominate the conversation, and we don't want a meeting that will go a long time because people will lose interest and lose focus on what's at hand. We just please appreciate comments to be respectful and to agree to disagree at times maybe, and we can have a good meeting. All right, Wells, you're up.
Commissioners, CEO of our company came today, and he's going to be speaking in my position.
Okay, all right.
If that's okay.
Certainly.
Okay. Where would you like me to?
You know, right beside the screen, I suppose.
Stand there?
Yep.
That'd be perfect. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the commission. My name is Paul White. I'm the CEO of PRC Wind. We're a 30-ish year wind energy development company that specializes and works on early stage development and planning and design of projects with a particular focus on designing them to work well in communities. We were invited to come into the community by the Wells Eddy Wind Group in 2018, and we've been planning this project, the Clicker Tail project. That's not what you're talking about specifically, but that's why we're here. We're working on that project. Big pieces are falling into place on that project now. Last fall, we entered into an agreement with Minnesota for the power sales from the project to serve eastern North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota with the Minnesota Power Company. This week, we're signing the generator interconnection agreement, which is difficult to achieve. It's been 7 years, and it is finished as of this week. So now we have the ability to connect to the power grid, and we have the ability to sell the power. The last pieces are permitting and construction. We've also been working on environmental studies and programs and community work, which will all fold together into the design of the project, which is where we're focused right now. We're focused on designing the project, and we're listening carefully to the community concerns and issues that really play into how the project should be shaped. We're following the standards of the Public Service Commission in North Dakota, which are longstanding, well-established, robust, good standards that measure up very well against other states to provide safety and projects that work. Many projects in North Dakota have been built to the PSC standards in North Dakota with success. I do understand that in Wells County, you are looking at the Burleigh County zoning ordinance as a potential template for the county to use. And generally, we're familiar with that standard. Burleigh County had the resources to very thoughtfully invest time and resources into developing those standards, and they're quite well put together. So we generally support. There's probably some tweaks and some areas to look at, but generally we support that. They're good, robust standards. We also understand that you're exploring setbacks, well in excess of the Burleigh County and in excess of the state standards. There's a lot of devils in the details on setbacks, depending on the definitions you use and how it's applied. So I'd urge you to take caution with that and be very careful about it, establishing standards that are well beyond what is required for safety to protect the community and property rights. So my message really to you is to please do your research and take the time to visit projects that are operating, kick the tires on the turbines. Today, turbines that are built the technology has matured to where it looks a little bigger and it produces a lot more. So you can replace 3 or 4 turbines with one turbine that is 50 to 75 feet taller. That's a huge opportunity where it cleans up the landscape. A lot of wind farms in North Dakota have many more towers than we would install. So I encourage you to visit projects. Today, Eddy County was visiting a couple of projects in North Dakota to serve this goal of just get familiar. What are we talking about? And listen to those farm landowners that are living around these projects and how did that go. Also, I encourage you to connect with the state of North Dakota. Take advantage of the work they've done over the last 20 years to develop their standards. Why do they have them? How did they develop them? How do they work? And how do they compare with other states? See if there are folks from the state that could come to the county, just looking for ways to collaborate and take advantage of their work that has been continuing to update those standards as technology has changed. They've done some really good things. They've done some industry-leading things that have been helpful. Finally, we are, on the other hand, right now are doubling down on finalizing and making sure we have connected with and listened to and engaged the community, the landowners. We haven't found everybody yet. We're trying to make sure we talk to everybody that is a participant in the project, but of course, also the folks that are not signed up and part of the project. We want to touch and listen and sit with everybody in the community around where there could be turbines, so that somebody that is within a mile of a turbine has had a chance to sit with us and explain their view. That folds into our design that we'd like to bring in the weeks or month or two ahead. We'd like to bring the fruits of all that work to you and show you how it can look. I am confident that you will be pleased. I believe there's a lot we can do. We're in the process of that work. That will mean a new map from what you've seen in the past. We're working hard on that. We believe there's a lot of good work to do. The danger, or what I'm concerned about today, frankly, is that a patchwork or a conflicting patchwork of zoning ordinances with multiple townships, a couple of counties and the state with different definitions for different things can result in mistakes. It can result in problems and bad outcomes for everybody. And I can give examples, but I don't want to take your time. But you get the idea that a patchwork can be very complicated. It could preclude the project from being built, or it could result in mistakes where something was built where it shouldn't be because a definition was not the right one of 4 that exist. You get the idea. So that's really what I'm here to say. I really urge you to take your time, get to know the industry, get to know the technology. We'll point you to projects that would be very similar. We'll help you connect with information. I'd encourage you to connect with the state and be cautious about adjusting, trying to create standards without having the background. Maybe talk to the state of North Dakota about mile setbacks. See what they have to say about that. And that's all I have.
Right.
Thank you for your time, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you. Well,
I'm Paul White.
Paul,
Yeah,
sorry.
no problem.
Yeah, any questions for Paul?
Could you explain the revenue stream that we hear about all this tax money going to the county? What is actually being taxed? Who's collecting it? Does it go to the state first, then to the county? What's generating all this tax money? My land is taxed, my house is taxed. What is being taxed to generate this money?
Yeah, that's a great question. Background on taxes is traditionally taxes on your house or on commercial equipment would depreciate over time. We just heard it today at a wind farm in Eastern, where the commissioner said, yeah, it was great in the beginning, and then it diminished, it depreciated, so then the tax revenue was nil. In wind energy, what has happened is many states, and North Dakota has moved to an in lieu of tax, where there's two components to a revenue stream that the project itself will pay. One component is based on the size of the project. How many megawatts is it? So many dollars per megawatt every year. And the second component is how much energy did it generate? So many dollars per megawatt hour of generation. Those add up to, in the case of the project we're developing, just as an example, $1.8 to $1.9 million a year paid to the state of North Dakota, which then distributes 2/3 down to the counties where the turbines are. The counties then move it around to school districts and so forth. I think I have that right, but that's the general idea. The benefit of the in lieu program, where it's a capacity and energy payment, is that it doesn't go away. It continues for the life of the